Hello and welcome to an online tutorial on how to use your BetterTrades online manuals. You may have an upcoming event with BetterTrades, and perhaps there's an online manual that you are being told you can find on your My Account page. So this little presentation is just, I want to show you how to download and use these online manuals, because a lot of people may not know this, but if I download an online manual and I have it on my computer, there are ways that I can take notes and annotations right on my computer and save that in the PDF file. So then I can come back to that at a later date and I can see all the notes and all the annotations that I took right inside of that online manual. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go over to the, I'll start with Internet Explorer. So I just jumped over to Internet Explorer here, and if you are registered for an upcoming class, you would go to BetterTrades.com and log into your account. So you can see right now I'm logged into my account. My name is Michael. Right next to my name up here you can see where it says My Account, and that's how you would get to the current page that I'm looking at, the My Account page. On the left hand side here you can see that I've got Next Step under My Account, because I have registered myself for an upcoming Next Step event in Orlando. So if I want to see the manual, what I do is I click on Next Step. It will refresh the page here, and I can see when the event is. I can see the location of the hotel. The instructor in this example is Bill Corcoran. If I wanted to download the manual, there's a green box that says download the manual. When I click on that, what it's going to do is it's just going to open up the manual in another tab on Internet Explorer. It does the same thing if I'm using Google Chrome. It does the same thing if I'm using Firefox, but it just opened it up in another window. What I want to do, if I want to do the annotations, is I want it to open up. I want to use this in a program called Adobe Reader. And some of your computers, maybe you have a new computer, or maybe you have a computer that never had it on here, you may not have Adobe Reader on your computer. And it is a free program for us to get. So what I'm going to do here, before I go too far, is I want to show you where you would go to download Adobe Reader. I'm going to click on the tab at the top to create another window. And what I'll do is I will type in get.adobe.com/reader. Okay, so get.adobe.com/reader. I could do that. I could also go right to google.com and type in Adobe Reader. So as I click on enter, this will take me to the Adobe website where I can download Reader. And keep in mind, whenever you download something, they always try to throw in optional offers. So always keep an eye out for that. You can see right in the middle of the page here, it's an optional offer to install Google Chrome as the default browser. Always pay attention to this. Usually it'll be a little checkbox, so you just uncheck that, and then you click on Install Now. Inside of Internet Explorer, when I click on Install Now, typically a box is going to open at the bottom of the page that is asking if I want to run or save the document. And if I click on Run, that's going to download Adobe Reader, and it'll put an icon, a red icon, just like this, right onto my desktop screen. So before you ever use Adobe Reader, it's you're going to want to click on that icon, that red icon on your desktop screen, if it's your first time using it, because there's an agreement that you have to just check the box and click on I agree to accept their terms. So you'll want to do that the first time you install Adobe Reader. Okay, so now that I've done that, now that I've installed Adobe Reader, as I go back to that manual that I put on my Internet Explorer, what you want to do in order for me to use Adobe Reader is I need to save that manual to my desktop screen. So the way that I would do that inside of Internet Explorer is I would click on File and I would say Save As. A box is going to pop up here, and now with this box I can name that file whatever I want. So you can see right now by default it says Next Step Manual 2014-0128. I could say Next Step Manual Orlando 2014. You can name it virtually whatever you want to. You can just say Next Step Manual, keep it the way that it was. So pick whatever you want, and then I would click on Save. And what that will do, when I click on Save, that'll put that link to that manual right on my desktop screen. If I saved it to my desktop screen, that's where it's going to put it. So pay attention as to where you save it. If you want it right on your screen of your computer, you would direct that file to save right onto your desktop. So there's that manual I just downloaded. Now to open it, actually before I open it, one thing I want to point out, perhaps you're not using Internet Explorer. Maybe you're using something else like Firefox. So if I bring up Firefox, so right now I'm inside of Firefox. You'll want to know how to use your browser. If I do it in Firefox, I click on Download the Manual. And again, notice how this opens it here inside of Firefox, slightly different. And on the right-hand side, looking at Firefox, I've got a button that says Download. So I would click on that button there to download this to my desktop screen, or if you put it in a download folder, wherever you direct it to. But I would download it from that icon there in Firefox. Okay. Now, as I go back to that manual, let me close out of this. As I go back to the manual and bring it up, so I'm double-clicking on the Next Step manual. This is where we bring it up in Adobe Reader. Pull it over to the screen so you can see it here. I pull it up in Adobe Reader, and if I want to annotate, what you're gonna do is you're going to click on View. So the steps to get to the annotation location, I click on View at the top left of the screen. I click on Comment, Annotations. So View, Comment, Annotations. When I click on the word Annotations here, watch what happens on the right side of the screen. It gives me some features, annotations, drawing markups, and so forth, that I can now use to write right onto the manual, the online manual itself. So let's say that an instructor says to go to page, I don't know, 67. I could come up to the top of the screen here, type in 67, hit enter, and that pulls me to that page in the manual. If it's too large, if the font is too large, I can always decrease the size here. Okay? So there's different things that we can do. Now, using the annotations or the drawing markups on the right-hand side, I can, let's say that I was in the Orlando event and Bill Corcoran had a lot to say. On the annotation side here, you can see that it has something called a sticky note, and there's hotkeys for it too. The hotkey for a sticky note is Control-6. But if I want a sticky note, let's say that Bill had a lot to say about cash flow, I can left click on sticky note, come back to the screen, and click on the screen. That opens a box for me that now I can go and I can take a lot of notes from Bill Corcoran. Okay. So once I do that, now as I'm scrolling back and forth from the manual, let's say I come down to this location and I see a sticky note on this PDF file, I put my cursor on it and I can see all the notes that I took on a train of thought that the instructor was going through. So that's called a sticky note. I can highlight text. So if I click on the highlight text box, I could come over here and highlight the text, cash flow. I can enter a text comment. That's the next feature over. So I can click on text comment, click on the screen, and say that this is an indicator that Bill doesn't follow. How's that for a note? So that's cash flow right there. So this is an indicator that Bill doesn't follow often. You write whatever you want to, and that is how you put text on the field. I could also erase. So here's an eraser right here under the drawing markups, and I can just come highlight a location. I can right click and delete. there's a pencil under drawing markups. So I could actually click on the pencil, and let's say that Bill was drawing a kind of a resistance and a support line, and he had a stock that was channeling up and down through this location. So he had a stock that was channeling up and down through this location. So you can do that utilizing the pencil. You guys might be better than I am at writing, so you can use a pencil if you wish. You can use the text chat if you wish. So there's different things that you can do there. So once you practice this, learn the different things you can do. If you just put your cursor over certain areas, it shows you what you can do. Drawing ovals, drawing squares, doing strike-throughs, add a note to replace a text, doing a strike-through, underlining. So there's a bunch of different features you can do. Now, once you're done marking up your document, all you want to do is you want to click on File, and you want to save it. You can either click on File, you can save it, or right up here there's an icon in Adobe Reader that is to save the file. You can see that the hotkey is Control-S. And that will save this PDF file, so the next time I come back to the Next Step Manual Orlando, all of my annotations and text that I took at that event will show up. So you can continue on at your next event and use the same manual and further mark it up from a different instructor, or you'll have the ability to have a new manual at that time, and you can take a whole new list of annotations and thoughts for that new instructor. And like I said, anytime you want to remove something, let's say I wanted to take this text test off of here, the words right there, you can just right click on it and you can say delete, and that will delete what you had there. So Adobe Reader is a good tool for you to consider when wanting to annotate a PDF file. If I was wanting to use it on an iPad, or maybe you have an Android tablet. With an Android tablet or Android phones, something that you can, an app that you can get is the Adobe PDF Reader. So that's if you're using an Android tablet or an Android phone. Adobe PDF Reader. If I was using an iPad, like an Apple iPad, and wanted to use a PDF, one suggestion that you could look at is something called Good Reader. It is a $4.99 one-time purchase, but if you use that, it does have a lot of customization type things where I can annotate the PDFs and so forth if I was using an iPad. If you have any more questions on any of these items, if you need further assistance, please feel free to always call BetterTrades. Our tech support is incredible, and they will be able to help you. Again, that's 1-800-676-4410. I hope that this was beneficial, and look forward to seeing you at an event down the road. Take care.